Welcome to the show. This week we got something a little special. For this week, I'm recording by myself, so that means unhinged conspiracy theories. Just kidding. Today I'm drinking Mandarin Orange Clear American uncaffeinated drink. I'm already all hyped up, and so I don't need more hype, especially if I'm recording alone, because you guys need some sanity in this episode. It's going to be a short episode, just a forewarning. This is kid-friendly, just so you know. But today, I wanted to talk to, this intro is going to be so short because I don't have anybody to feed off of and distract myself from what I want to actually talk about. But today, I wanted to talk a little bit about some Santa Claus conspiracy theories.
On a snow night in the forest deep, a figure emerged where the fir trees sleep. With eyes like fire and wings so grand, a heavenly Bigfoot walked the land. Oh, holy Bigfoot shining bright, guiding us with angelic light. A Christmas tale so wild and true. Bigfoot came to the manger too. His voice was like a trumpet sound, echoing through the hills around. Fear not, he cried, for peace I bring. Glory to the newborn King. Oh, holy Bigfoot shining bright, guiding us with angelic light. A Christmas tale so wild and true. Bigfoot came to the manger too.
Santa Claus, this is a fun one for me because I love Santa Claus. I love Christmas. I love everything about Christmas. I love giving gifts. I love receiving gifts. I love just being able to show someone in a very easy way, hey, I appreciate you. We got, for Chi Alpha, for what we do for our job for ministry, and we have people who volunteer their time for us. And so it's an opportunity for me to just kind of give a gift that shows them, hey, I'm thinking about you. I appreciate you. And it doesn't have to be awkward. And so I love Christmas. I absolutely love Christmas. And then on top of that, you got all of the pretty lights out. I always said, Jesus should have been born a month later in January or because by the time January 25th comes around, all the lights are turned off and put away. And it's just winter, and winter stinks. And so Christmas is nice because when it starts snowing and the lights are out, it's so beautiful out. They're just kind of a magical time. I know for some people Christmas can be a hard time, and that's why whenever I'm out and about during the Christmas season, I try to just kind of remember that everybody's kind of fighting their own battles and you never really know what somebody's going through. But outside of that, this is an opportunity for us to bless people during this season, especially as Christians. Like, we should be going above and beyond to bless others during this season and praying for others and showing people that we care. And so, the reason for the season is Jesus. But Santa is a fun part of that season because Santa ultimately points to Jesus. And now St. Nicholas, he's a Christian guy. So Santa Claus is Christian, So what more than to celebrate with our fellow Christian, the reason for the season, Jesus. But today I wanted to share some Christmas, some Santa Claus, some just Christmas in general conspiracy theories. One of my favorite conspiracy theories around specifically Santa Claus. I've heard numerous times that Santa Claus is red and white. The reason he chose red and white was because he was sponsored by Coca-Cola. And it's serious, so silly to me because, frankly, Santa Claus came before Coca-Cola. if anything, Coca-Cola chose their colors of red and white to be more like Santa. They were looking at him going, okay, he's successful, he's doing things, but he's only really available 1 month of the year. How can we harness his energy the other 11 months? And they were like, you know what? Let's do this thing. Let's imitate him the other 11 months of the year. And then during that 1 month, we can just partner with him. And that way we don't get sued for it. That's got to be the only solution, right? Because how else could they possibly have just chosen those colors? And maybe it's coincidence. I don't know how much I believe in coincidence, but maybe it is just coincidence that Coca-Cola just happens to have the same colors. But they are pretty cool colors, and they do kind of, they're pretty flashy, especially during the Christmas season. You got all the grays and the whites, and then all of a sudden you got these reds and the red lights. Oh, red lights on top of like white snow. This year, it's kind of been dry, and we didn't really get snow for Christmas this year. And so all the lights they're still beautiful. It's still a beautiful time of year, but there is something about that blanket of snow, especially when it's like fresh. You got that fresh snow, and then you got the blue and the red lights just kind of reflecting off the snow. It's such a beautiful color. Now you got blue and red, so then Pepsi. So then why wouldn't you say that, well, Pepsi, that Santa stole his colors from Pepsi? I guess Santa isn't blue, but anyway, maybe Pepsi stole their colors from the blue lights that we see so often. I don't know. Right now in my office, I have the blue and the red lights up, and it feels like Christmas. And so, I just want to kind of chug along. This is going to be a short episode. I just kind of wanted to do something fun, just to put something out there, but not to spend a lot of time during this week working on and editing a podcast episode so that I could spend it with my family. And so another conspiracy theory that I think is kind of funny, it doesn't make any sense to me, but the conspiracy theory that Santa is just a government surveillance program, that basically our government created Santa, created all of this so that he could have some surveillance on us. Because Santa's got a list and he's checking it twice. Well, what if that list is just being funneled straight into our government? So our government has all of our secrets. They knows who's good, who's naughty, who's nice, and they can predetermine who we're going to be and who we grow up into being. And this one seems silly to me again, because that kind of demonstrates this higher power above Santa Claus. And I don't think our government's that powerful. Santa lives outside of any government because he operates all over the world. He's literally going all over the globe. And so how could our government possibly create such a program? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't, especially since the United States isn't even that old of a government anyway. And so it simply just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I could see there being the theory that our government is maybe like hacked or tapped into Santa's system. And our government's dirty enough. I could see them doing that at times. Not our government, but there are individuals within our government that kind of shady. You never know. There's people here and there that are kind of shady inside of our government. And I could see them trying that, but man, I just couldn't see Santa's system being hackable. He's clearly operating in quantum mechanics. His sleigh obeys the laws that are similar to electron behavior in quantum mechanics, because his sleigh and he can be simultaneously in so many places at once. It seems like I don't really understand unless he can pause or slow time. But that would kind of lead to, I guess he could slow time down. Or if he just operates outside of time. We've talked about how angels can operate outside of time because they're not constricted to the same restraints. And so if Santa operates outside of time, and we're kind of seeing that with these orbs and UFOs and stuff, right? We're talking about how, they seem to travel so fast instantly. Well, if they're not operating under our restraints of gravity and time, they could then travel super fast without any real strain on the body or on the sleigh or the reindeer for that matter. And so then would Rudolph's red nose be the sleigh and Santa just adhering to the government FAA standards of flight? Sorry, my brain's kind of going off on a tangent. Going back to the quantum mechanics, if he's capable of appearing in multiple places at once, that would be the same way quantum mechanics works. And we barely understand quantum mechanics, and so we can barely understand Santa and what he's doing, and so therefore, I just don't see. I feel like Santa is 1,000 years ahead of anybody else's understanding of the world, at the very least. If he's not operating outside of it, if he's operating according to our laws of gravity and time and all of that stuff, then, he's got to be so far advanced that I couldn't see our government being capable of hacking into a system for surveillance anyway. And so that conspiracy theory for me just gets thrown out because it gets to a point where it's just not believable. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of believable, the next one just is laughable to me. That the elves are just kids who were kidnapped, and that seems silly to me because they don't age. If they were just kids, they would grow into adults in a few years. Nah, that's silly. They're a different species, we don't really know what they are, what elves are. They're kind of in that line of Bigfoot. We don't really know what they are. We just know that they don't age very fast. And, that goes back to the quantum mechanics stuff. If they're operating outside of time, it's not that they don't age. It's that time doesn't seem to affect them the same way because time operates so much slower because Santa operates outside of time and gravity. And outside of those things, the elves could just be operating outside of time and gravity. And so therefore it's not that they age slower, it's that it doesn't affect them as much because they operate. Interesting. I never really even thought about that before. But yeah, and I guess the another conspiracy theory is that the Santa that you go and sit on his lap isn't the real Santa. Now that one's a little more believable to me. I could see that there would be people partnered with Santa all over so that while they're kind of creating the toys and they're making things and getting stuff ready to go, then maybe he has partners in each town who will kind of step in for him. We had a guy like that used to go to our church, and we literally called him Santa Claus. Now, part of me believes he was the actual Santa Claus because just everything about him just exuded Santa. He was so jolly and happy and smiling and giving and sacrificial. He was an awesome dude, and he moved to Iowa. And so I stay in touch with him a little bit on Facebook, but we called him Santa. Part of me believed that he was Santa, but at the very least, I know he partnered with Santa, and Santa would have had to have chosen him and been like, hey, I trust you to stand in as me to take pictures with these kids so that I can focus on getting this stuff ready to go. And so at the very least, I could see that being the case, but I don't know what I think about that one for sure. And the last conspiracy theory, this one's for me kind of laughable, is that secretly that it's not actually Santa, that there's just this secret society. I don't know what you would call it. Just this secret society of people who are the ones who are doing this. And they just use the image of Santa as a front. And this one seems really silly to me because, I don't know, it just seems, again, it kind of goes back to what we talk about with like all these other sightings and cryptids and stuff like that, if it seems silly, I guess, which one seems more logical? I'll word it that way. And for me, all the pieces start to fit together, with everything that we've talked about on this show. The pieces fit together a little bit better for me, that it makes more sense that Santa simply just operates outside of space and time. I think that he, just like the previous episode, we were talking about other things. It seems like they're able to, and maybe it is just because they're more advanced than we are, and they can kind of rip through that concept of time, and so they can exist in this like quantum realm. I mean, scientifically, what you would call it, they exist in this quantum realm that doesn't adhere to the same laws of space and time as we have. We know that that's possible because angels and God aren't restricted by that same time and gravity as us. And so there has to be, in the angel realm, there has to be an existence of a realm that is outside of space and time. And so it simply, for me, just seems to make more sense that Santa would operate outside of that realm, that inside that quantum realm, and instead is able to operate through that in order to get stuff delivered. So for him, it might actually take him, if we were to measure it by our time standard, 100 years every Christmas to get all of the gifts out and to visit all of the communities and to do all of those things. But because he exists outside of time, he's not aging. He's not, there's no health issues. There's no time issues or anything like that. He just simply does it according to when our time of a year comes up. And so I think it makes more sense that he exists outside of that quantum realm. But anyway, I hope this gives you and your family a little more to think about this holiday season. Just wanted to get on here, post something for Christmas, wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I want to say thank you so much for all of your support over these last few months as we began to build a library and post our stuff and share our stuff. I know, especially on our social medias, we're sharing stuff like crazy, and it can seem a little bit overkill, but the reality is our podcast is starting to grow, and you are a part of that. You're the ones sharing this with your friends. The bulk of our success so far has been because you guys shared it with somebody who got hooked and started listening. I'm getting people who are reaching out all over the place, people that I'm not connected with, that are like, hey, I had a friend, mention this to me. I love this show. Can I join your Discord? And, we've had a couple like that. And then on top of that, so many people have reached out to us and commented. And so keep it up. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have an absolute blessed Christmas season, holiday season, through New Year's. We'll probably pick up next week with a regular episode, but for this week, just wanted to get on here. Thank you guys so much and appreciate you. Okay, Merry Christmas. Okay, bye.
Guiding us with angelic light, a Christmas tale so wild and true. Big food came to the manger too. His voice was like a trumpet sound, echoing through the hills around. Fear not, he cried, for peace I bring. Glory to the newborn King. Oh, holy Bigfoot shining bright, guiding us with angelic light. A Christmas tale so wild and true. Bigfoot came to the manger too. His voice was like a trumpet sound, echoing through the hills around. Fear not, he cried, for peace I bring. Glory to the newborn King. Oh, holy Bigfoot cross with angelic